Welcome back to the Weekly Show podcast after our long spring break. I'm your host, Vinnie, Rosa.
I'm Jackson Rioux, and today we have Max, our wonderful sound guy, on.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of some personal info and your background.
So my name is Max Arzu. I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm a senior here at CCSU. I have one more semester left, and then I'm out in the world trying to make things happen.
So you've lived in Waterbury your whole life, or
I've
have
been
you gone
there
anywhere?
since, I was born in Brooklyn, New York in 92, and then
92.
I moved to Waterbury in 1998. And then since then I've been
So
been
what are
Waterbury.
the differences between your time in Brooklyn and your time in Waterbury?
I don't remember much of it because I was like 5-6 years old. So a lot of my memories come from Waterbury. A lot of it comes from being in this area. So I enjoy it. But going back from time to time, I like New York, but I'd rather live in Connecticut.
So if we fast forward a little bit, what made you want to come to Central Connecticut State University?
It was more of a financial issue, and it was between here or Southern, and then Central got back to me quicker, so I ended up just coming here.
When you first got to Central, were you officially a production major, or did you have to change, or?
Yeah, production major.
Okay.
At Naugatuck Valley in Waterbury, I got my associates in digital arts, audio media. Audio video is the actual title. And so I got my digital arts degree there and my general studies there.
All right, so you seem like you're always busy and stuff. So what's a week or a day like in the life of Max?
Oh, man.
Because you do a lot of stuff outside of just the show and the studio and whatnot.
A day in the life of Max. I would wake up, go to class, and then go to work, come back to class. And then a lot of the time it's just emailing, it's making calls. There's not really that much free time.
But where else you go? Because I always see you Snapchatting. You're always doing production elsewhere. What else do you do?
How many jobs do you have?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
more than a
that's
question.
I have 2 jobs currently. I'm a video instructor at Waterbury. I teach kids how to use Premiere Pro. And I am a
Sorry,
photographer. I am a photographer with Live Touch on the weekends. So I do that Saturdays, Sundays. And then I do my own stuff. I do my own photography. I have the Arzu show. He's laughing over here. Arzu is my first and last name put together, so I thought it was kind of catchy.
So what are your like interests in photography and stuff? Because you kind of sounds like you do a lot of like freelance in your spare time.
It's more freelance, and it's just whatever comes to my head. I don't really go outside with a concept. I kind of just take the camera, put it in a position, and I take the picture, and whatever comes out.
So you're Team Canon over Team Nikon?
I'm a
All
Canon
right.
boy.
Unfortunately,
With Live Touch, I use Nikon, but I'm more of a Canon guy.
the good side.
So now that we're here, what's your role on the show?
My role is the sound producer. I mic up the people, like get the chords out. I make sure the sound is good, and when the guests come in, I want to make sure that they feel comfortable when they get there. So a lot of the times it's their first time being at the studio, so try to make small conversation with them and just to make sure that they're comfortable. If they need anything, any of us will be around.
So now coming into the before the semester, did you know how to were you experienced with sound and miking people up and raising audio levels and working the board, or was that a lot you learned this semester?
A lot of it I've done in the past, and so with this show I kind of took the back role, and I just wanted to. I told these guys during the semester I'm like the last defense. If anything goes wrong, I'll settle it. So I kind of took the back role with the show, and I'm just making sure that everything's okay. If anything does go wrong, then that's when I start to speak up, and I make sure that we try to get.
This is more of a futuristic question, because you're going to be here next semester possibly,
next semester,
right?
Yep.
What's something that you would like to work on the show next semester, like doing, or would you want to do sound again?
Maybe I'm looking at doing sound again, but I kind of want to do Alice's job at the same time. It's pretty cool. Just to now, no shots at it. I'm just saying it's.
You hear that?
It's a job that I think that I would need to know in the future if I apply for a job.
Now, it's funny you say that because there's been a lot of people that wanted to do that. I wanted to do floor managing this semester. Corey told me he wants to do it next semester, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other people. Also, we're also recruiting for next semester, so anyone that's watching this that's a student, please talk to Yanti.
So, and another question about the show, because you kind of skipped over, what would you want to improve on the show?
Oh, yes. Something that we can improve with this show, I would like maybe the future guests to come in and see one of our shows that we're doing currently, just so when they get there, they know what the feel is like. because a lot of the times when the guests get there, they are nervous, they don't feel comfortable. So if they can see a show prior to actually being on, then they know the gist of it. They know the crew already, so it's kind of like they come in with more confidence when it's their time to go on.
Basically, you think we should plan a little bit better in advance, a little bit.
Not to say that it's bad, but we can always have them come in early.
Okay.
And so when we do schedule them, if we say 4:30, sometimes they come at 4:35, 4:40, and we're waiting on them. So if we say like 4:20, we can expect them to get there around 4:30. So maybe a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, things are working out fine. We get better every week.
What was something that before the semester started that made you want to join the show? Like, what did you want to get out of it, and why did you want to join the group of us?
Well, actually, last semester I didn't know what class to take, and then Vinnie here came up to me and he called me after the day that I think Yancy brought us the sheets to sign up for the class, and he was like, "Hey, if you're interested, we'll definitely like to have you on." And any experience is a good experience for me, so I kind of took that and ran with it, and I'm here now. So thanks to Vinnie here, I'm on the show.
So is this something you've thrown on your resume and have added when you're applying to jobs?
I haven't thrown it on yet, but I've been talking about it, and I've told people that I'm running sound, and sound is one of those things that in all the parts of communication I haven't got to yet. So sound is something that's highly important. If you have no sound, you have no show. If you have no show, then that's bad on you. So sound is a crucial part, and I highly accept the responsibility.
Now, this is going to be a little bit of a hard question, and we've asked almost every guest that we've had. We have about 5 weeks left. In the next 5 weeks of the show, what's something you would like to see happen on the show? Like, what topics? Like, what do you want to see on the show?
What do I want to see on the show? That's a good question. What do I want to see on the show?
Dun, dun, dun.
That's a good one. Because from what we're doing now, everything is going well. Like
Yeah.
Would you say it's going well? 1 through 10, where would you rate it?
I give it like a 7.5, 8. Like it doesn't suck, and it's not perfect. And that's how it is when you're working in a group.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have people that don't get along, but that's part of being on a team. You kind of have to work with that and make the best of it.
Well, I also think too is like last week we were on the YouTube channel and we were looking at like how long people are watching, what they're watching, what the peaks are, and I think we've like really like dived into like what people want. And I think like for the episode that hopefully will be posted today, we did what people wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like why I asked in the first place, like what is something else you would want to see happen on the show the next 5 weeks. I know it's hard because it's such a broad question. But we only have like 5 more shows at max.
At max.
At max. I like that. Drum snare. But yeah, I like the idea of getting the crew in front of the camera as well, because a lot of the times you just see Dustin, and the show doesn't run without majority of us. So getting those guys the camera time is kind of a nice way to get them out there, and subtly that they're part of the crew and they're on the show. So getting the crew on there is a good way of...
Would you say this week's episode did a better job than any of the other episodes of doing that?
I got my debut. I appreciate that.
If you want to talk about that, you can.
No, I'd rather wait for the viewers to watch that so they can see.
Sorry, we put you in the stall there.
Not at all. Well, not put you in the stall. That's kind of like a
pun.
A pun.
Well, I like what you just said too about like getting our crew on camera, because it's like we don't have to really go out and get people. We're kind of using our own resources. So I think that's kind of good because like we're not just doing one job. Like you're not just sound. You're doing editing. You're doing you're on camera. You're doing the sound. Like we're all really working with each other. Like there's no one person that's just doing one job, which I think's really a big deal. And I think next semester, hopefully, with this all comes together again. That keeps expanding, and people are doing multiple jobs to get things done quicker and cleaner. So for like next semester, if everything goes well and we do get the show, how many like jobs do you think people should be doing like we're doing now?
I would say just one, because you want to focus completely solely on your job, and you want to make sure that you're doing it right. Not that it's bad to know too, and it's good to know too, in case somebody falls and you have to pick up their slack. But to stay focused on one job and do that entirely, I think that's the way it should go. Just stay with one job. But it's always good to know 2 or more, just in case.
So we talked about editing a little bit, and we recently just started doing with the sound. You're obviously a big part of that with the laughter and stuff. Do you like editing in the sound after, or do you like the studio process of the sound? I know you're not a fan of Final Cut, but which do you like better?
In my years of just going through school in general, I've done so many aspects of communication. I've done the camera roll. I've done the sound. I'm doing it now, being a radio personality, TV personality. So I'm really enjoying the TV personality aspect of it. And editing was my first love. I started using Movie Maker in high school. For those who don't know Movie Maker, it's a Windows. I don't know if I could be plugging them like that, but it was a Windows program. And then from there, I was introduced to Premiere Pro. And then from there, that's where I started editing. And I know Final Cut, but I'd rather do Premiere Pro.
If you had to give any tips to anyone about like what it takes to be good or proficient in production, what would you say?
Consistency, just being consistent at what you do. And if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask, because in a classroom full of 30, I bet 29 of them have the same question. It's just that one person that decided to ask the question and be brave and stand up and say, I don't know the answer, so can you give us the answer, whatever it is. So just, sometimes just speak up. That was my watch, by the way.
It's all right. All right, you said consistency. Elaborate.
Just being able to keep going even when you don't know the answer, or you don't know when to not give up. So say if I'm doing math and I don't know what x equals, I'm not going to give up because at the first time I don't know what x equals. I'm going to ask my professors. I'm going to ask my friends. I'll go on Math Lab, whatever it is, and I'll keep going until I find what x equals. And then from there, you'll find the answer eventually. So you just got to keep pushing the envelope, and one day.
But do you though? Because I feel like in production, it's not. You just got to keep pushing the envelope. I don't really think there's ever a, you should feel content. I feel like you always need to keep going. I've learned that just working down here in the CCSU TV. Like, there's never just like one way, and it's like, oh, you figured it out. Now just keep doing. Like, I always feel like with production, you got to keep pushing and finding new ways to do multiple things. Like, everything kind of evolves into one thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just one way of doing it.
And that's a beautiful thing to this field, because it's a creative aspect, and there's no pinnacle to where you can stop. It's kind of like there's always something you could do better. You can shave off 2 seconds, and then that makes your video look better. You can extend your music, and then that changes your whole aspect, your view of the video. So there's so many ways that you can do things in the production field. And like Nas said, no idea is original, but you always want to find ways to be creative in your own ways and just, try to be unique at the same time.
So I've asked this question to everybody that's come on the show, but how would you characterize the weekly show's staff members as a crew? How would you describe us? And are you excited to go bowling on Saturday?
First of all, I'm going to bowl a 180. I think it's 180. That's the highest, right?
300.
300.
Oh,
whatever.
boy.
Well, I think 180. But our crew in general, we're all diverse. I've heard in the previous podcast, I think Allison said it, we all come from different places. Seymour, Bristol, Waterbury, we're all from different areas. And Connecticut is a small state. It's about an hour and a half going either way. And so, yeah, we're a small state, and we're a small collective group, and I feel that we're great. We can take on any task. We can make our product as great as we want it to be. There's no ceiling to what we can do, and there's no ceiling to what we can't do. And I like our group. We have some funny guys, and I love our dynamic, and it works out.
I want to ask you a question as far as I'm going to get kind of a little personal of a question. Like, who's your favorite person to work with in the studio?
Who's my favorite person to work with?
If you had to pick.
If I had to pick.
Ooh. Because I feel like that's an interesting question.
That's an evil question.
It's an evil question, but it's actually a really good question, because I think it's a good compliment because there's 11 of us, and it's like you're working with some people that I'm not working with.
If I had to pick, I'll answer that. I'm okay with that. If I had to pick, I do like working with you, with Vinnie. I like working with Jackson.
So you just named the 2 people in the room.
And well, not because you guys are here, but just because of the feel that I get. I always feel the passion for when you guys are trying to get the job done, and you always have something to say when something's wrong. And that's something I've said in the beginning. If you guys have something to say it. That's the best way that we'll get our group to work efficiently.
Well, and that's funny you said that too, because I think that's where I think this group's interesting, because we kind of set some laws down in the beginning, and it was like it was rocky the first like 4 or 5 weeks. It was really bad. It was actually terrible.
Rocky Balboa.
Rocky 4.
It was terrible.
Rocky 5.
And the thing is that I feel like now a lot of us have gotten pretty close, and the thing is, like, I've never really heard about this at different schools. It's really happening. I really haven't. And we're all going out like once a week, whether it's like 8 of us or at least try to get the whole crew. And it's like we're trying to get to know each other, because realistically, if we all stay in Connecticut, there's not that many news stations, there's not that many production places, and we're probably going to have to work with each other again unless we go out of state. So, like, what do you feel about the bond that we've kind of created in the studio?
When I know you've played on a baseball team,
Yeah.
Jackson, you played on the team? Or
Not baseball. Well, Little League.
Well, just any team in general. You start to flourish when you start to hang out outside of whatever you're doing. Whenever you just have conversations. Whenever we just go bowling, because the dynamic just works out whenever you decide to just take small trips to go somewhere and not focus on the actual product. If we were to meet once a week and do the weekly show, and that was it, I feel like the show would suck.
I feel like, and I don't mean to cut you off, I feel like the first 5 weeks would still be going on.
It'll probably still be going on.
I don't think there'd been any improvement. I think because me and Dustin's in the room for everyone that doesn't know.
Hi, guys.
But the thing is with Dustin is that I wasn't really close with Dustin last semester, and Dustin's the talent, and I wasn't really close with anyone in the studio, to be honest with you. And once I started talking to people, me and Dustin probably talk weekly about the show. I talk
daily.
No, hence,
daily.
Hence,
and
weekly.
I'm gonna start talking now because I'm in the room now. I'm acknowledging it.
So I think that's huge, because that's made the show better, because everyone's communicating. If, like Max has said, if it was a once a week thing, we come and go, nothing would get done. We wouldn't get to know each other. You have to work together, and you have to do it proficiently and fast.
And even just that time we went to Hooters, I came in kind of late, but I had some prior things come up.
Yeah, only 3 people in the room were there, though, so...
5. Well, at one point, wasn't it 5? Derek?
No, I mean only 3 people in the room.
Oh, in this room.
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
Not
trips
calling
like...
anyone out, but I'm just saying.
Sorry.
Just trips like that, going to Hooters and just eating all you can eat wings, and just talking about school and things like that. It builds trust within the group, because you're not just talking about one thing, which is the weekly show. You're talking about how their days are going, how their lives are going, and stuff like that. So it kind of...
And like, to continue with that,
up.
I feel like another thing that's interesting about this is that we all have it's not even just that we're work bound, we're kind of friends now. And I feel like in the summer that the guys that are, even the people are graduating, but I still feel like we're going to get together over each week. I really don't see why we wouldn't hang out every other week or something like that just to do stuff, because I feel like if we were to lose Connect over summer and just come back into the show, it would lose the connection. And I feel like if we get together every now and then over the summer, and even just record some projects over the summer, because we all have equipment, or some people do, I think the show is going to get that much better next semester. So what do you think about that?
That's what this show should do. It should bring us together. And I tell anybody that I work with, if you stick with me, you'll be in a good position. I can guarantee you that. I've gotten jobs for a few people. I've done interviews with quite a few people. So if I can do it, you definitely can. Waterbury is a place that people always kind of talk bad about, but if I can definitely do it, anybody can. And you just have to look in the right direction, talk to the right people, keep a positive outlook on things, stay consistent, and those things will happen. And as always, Come on, this is Arzu you're talking to.
I feel like you just read a page from your book that you're writing.
What book?
It just sounds like an autobiography when you're famous.
I have no book. This is all
Arzu.
This is all from personal experiences, all from just things going on, failures, successes, and all of that kind of just builds up. And
That's the subtitle.
thank you. Makes you a better person.
Okay, so all right, so it's fall or winter next year. You're graduating. What's your dream job?
My dream job. I'm looking at ESPN. I went to WNPR about a month ago. I was on 93.7 in September. I'm doing the Arzu show. I'm doing a lot of different things. So I'm looking around. I don't want to stop myself at a certain position just yet. So I'm just.
You got to give us
bouncing
something.
around.
Something.
Quite honestly, I don't know. But ESPN was the goal. But right now I'm kind of like, I know I can do something. I can do something else. But I'm bouncing around. I've been to ESPN a few times. I've seen the facilities. I've gotten people at ESPN to come on my show and talk about their job positionings there. And so it kind of gave me a different perspective of the different jobs that are there. So I am applying there, but I don't know. I really don't know where just yet. But I'm.
Be the next Denzel Washington. That wasn't your dream.
No.
Do you feel that what you have on your resume is good enough to get into where you need to be? Or do you, like, I mean, and I know this is the thing with the resume, it's always you need something to keep building. And like we talked about, there's no content part. But do you think with what you currently have, do you think that it will be good enough to get you in where you need to be?
Not to toot my own horn, but if any job or any group doesn't accept me, then your job is not as good as me not being there. So saying, not to say that,
Mic drop.
Not to say that, the biggest job, biggest corporation is good the way they are. But if you had a personality like myself or any of us in this room, you'll make the place that much better.
Well, I agree with that because it's like in this field you can't undersell yourself, but you can't be too over cocky, but you have to be enough confident in your work. And like I've seen what you do. I mean, even just on Snapchat or whatever you post.
Why, thank you.
You post. I mean, you're everywhere filming. Like every time I see
Throw
you
out the handle.
you're always filming, and it's like you got the show here. You're doing this. You're doing you have like all these little projects, and it's like that's what it's about. And we've talked about this, me and Jackson, with other people, is that everyone gets so hung on the fact that they don't know what they do. They haven't done anything. Like, just do something. It doesn't have to be an internship. It doesn't have to be a job. If you're just filming and working on videos and not getting paid or credit for it, that doesn't matter. I've talked to plenty of people. They just want to see that you're working.
And something that did help, you should, if you can, travel, because what that does is it expands your mind on different things. And then when you come back home, you realize that sometimes it's not as bad as other places. I was fortunate enough to go to school in Puerto Rico for 2 years in my first years of college. And
You're just mentioning that now?
see, I like to take the back seat in what I do, so I try not to be the forefront.
Great part of this podcast, you enlightening.
I try not to be the forefront of what I do because I don't want to come off cocky. I don't want to come off arrogant.
You've never come
a
off
lot
arrogant.
a lot of these things thank you. A lot of these things I kind of just sit back and I just like to take the back row. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, look at me all the time. I'm so and so. I kind of just sit back and relax.
See, I don't know. I feel like sometimes you should speak up more because I feel like you have something to say, but
Oh, I do. I do.
start speaking up.
I do.
Your opinion.
should,
Your
though,
opinion
because
has weight.
I do when it really comes down to it, like when there's times where something has to be said, that's when I
Yeah,
say
but
something.
you shouldn't wait just till then, though, because I think you have some pretty good ideas that could help the show next semester.
Why? Thank you.
No, I'm being serious because
I'm
next
blushing.
semester there's a lot of us that are gonna switch roles.
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest thing is right now is this was kind of a test run this semester. Not to say it's not good or we're treating it like it's a test run, but it's a test run because it's the first time doing it. And I think it's gonna be more of a for us it's a teaching experience for people that didn't do it. For all of us, for 11 of us, it was brand new. So, we're getting through it.
Some of us was because it was brand new.
Yeah, okay,
I enjoy it. I enjoy taking it back row because with the weekly show, the Arzu show, I kind of did something like the weekly show. I was the talent on the show. I was bringing in guests from different places to come in. I still do it now. I changed it from TV to radio because Newtown was too far away. That's where I did my TV show. So I just brought it to Central, changed the aspect of it, made it radio, got a DJ, and I have a guest coming in tonight. So he's going to play his music. He'll probably kick a freestyle.
You want to give it a shout out for your show for the few people that listen to this?
Of course. Twitter, IG, Snap, MKARZU. If you can find me one, you can find me across the board. Always positive, never negative, because what goes up does not come down. The laws of science have been broken in that nature, so be careful what you do, because you may not get that JOB. It's the Arzu Show every Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Career development at its best with myself, Arzu. Music spun by DJ Ric Flair. And if you guys have guests or you need guests for the weekly show, by all means, contact me. I'll get you what you need.
Oh, I think we have to end on that note because I don't think we can top that.
So, as always, I am Vinnie Rosa.
I'm Jackson Rioux. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Nelson was here.